Next is derivatives of exponential and logarithmic functions. So I have here 4 formulas lang. So derivative of e to the u is e to the u du, where e is a constant. That's 2.71828 if I'm not mistaken. So from the previous lesson, di ba, ang na-encounter natin is when a variable is raised to a constant or when a function is raised to a constant. So ito yung power formula at saka yung general power formula. So di ba ginagamitan lang natin siya ng n x to the n minus 1 or n u to the n minus 1 du, so provided that n must not be equal to negative 1. So in this case, pagpapalitin natin, yung constant naman ang base, tapos function or variable naman yung exponent. So if that will be the case, pag e to the u, so that's e to the u du, or kapag ka naman a to the u, that's a to the u ln a du, where a is any constant. So actually, itong e to the u lang ay galing lang din dito since a is any constant. So pwede natin gamitin yung e, since e is a constant, so e to the u ln of e, which is equal to 1 du. So na-derive lang si e to the u du from the derivative of a to the u because a is any constant and u is a variable or any function. So pag nakakita ng any constant na na-erase sa function or sa variable, ito yung gagamiting formula. Tapos ito, exclusive lang yan for e. So e is the Napierian number. So which is, again, that's 2.7182818. So ln u, so we all know naman that ln represents logarithm of a number to the base e. So logarithm of u to the base e is simply ln of u. So if that would be the case, that's du over u. So again, this is just derived from logarithm of u. So si log of u is m du over u, then u to u. So this is du over u multiplied by m, where m is log of e. So in that case, kung magkakaroon ako dito ng ln e, kasi nga na-derive nga lang, sabi dito ang m is log of e, so ibig sabihin ang m nito is ln of e, which is actually 1 din. So log of e is, if I'm not mistaken, is 0.4342. If I'm not mistaken. So let's try. Ano ba ang value ng log of e? So I have here a calculator na free naman siya sa app. Log. Saan na ba si log? Where is log? Log to the base 10 of e. That's alpha exponent. So log of e is 0.43429. So that's 0.4343 pala. So 0.43429 or 0.4343. So that's a constant na. So kapag ka logarithm of u, that's m du over u, where m is 0.4343. So ibig sabihin, kung ano yung derivative nung u mo, i-divide mo sa u, tapos i-multiply ko siya sa constant na 0.4342. So that will be our multiplier. So pag ln du over u lang, so kung ln of this something, that's this derivative of that something divided by that something. So, yon ang ating mga formulas. So, syempre, in dealing with logarithms, so again, meron tayong mga basic logarithm properties na gagamitin natin. So, alam naman natin na ang ln A plus ln B is ln of a product of AB. So, ln A minus ln B is ln of quotient A over B. Then A ln B is equal to ln B raised to A. So we have also ln E is equal to 1. So another property is ln E raised to something is something, or E raised to ln something is something. So those are the basic logarithmic properties na pwede nating ma-encounter dito or ma-apply prior to differentiation, because it's easy to differentiate, to simplify first the given prior to differentiation. So siguro I can show you the first example, yung without using the properties and with using the properties. Okay, so example number 1, I have here y is equal to ln x minus 1 to the third power. So, ang ating formula para sa ln of something, so ito yung magiging something ko. So, ang formula ko lang is y prime is equal to derivative of that something x minus 1 raised to the third power over that x minus 1 to the third power. So, because ln u is simply derivative of u over u. So, since u here is x minus 1 to the third, that's derivative of x minus 1 to the third over x minus 1 to the third. So, I just need to get the derivative of x minus 1 to the third using the general power formula for which x minus 1 is your u and 3 is your n. So, general power formula, u to the n is n u to the n minus 1 times the derivative of x minus 1. So, your y prime here is n, that's your 3, multiplied by x minus 1, 3 minus 1, that's 2, multiplied by the derivative of x minus 1 is 1. All over x minus 1 to the third power. So, as you can see, this x minus 1 to the 3 minus 1 is 2. So, magiging x minus 1 squared siya. So, if that's x minus 1 to the second power and x minus 1 to the third, may makakancel yung x minus 1 squared, may matitirang x minus 1 to the 1 sa baba. So, therefore, our y prime is simply 3 over x minus 1. So, that's our answer. Ito yung ginamitan ko ng direct substitution dun sa formula. So, whereas, I can use another or alternate solution for this kapag ln of x minus 1 to the third power. So, ito yung sinasabi ko na it's easy or mas maganda kung magsisimplify muna ako prior to differentiation kasi mas madal sabagay, easy nga. Easier ang pag-simplify first prior to differentiation than differentiate then simplify. So, I'll show you how. So, di ba meron tayong property that a ln b is ln b raised to a. So, in this case, meron akong ln x cube. So, pwede kong gamitin yung ln x cube is x ln x minus 1. Again, ln, ang given natin kasi is ln x minus 1 cube. ln x minus 1 yung b, tapos a is to the third power. So, that 3, pwede nating dalhin dun sa unahan, then ln x minus 1. So, your y here can be written as 3 ln x minus 1. So, using the property of logarithm that we have here. So, in this case, hindi na ako gagamit ng general power formula. That is simply 3 is a constant and that must be put outside the operator since I'm going to take the derivative. This is simply ln of u. So, your y prime here is 3 times the derivative of x minus 1 over x minus 1. And what's the derivative of x minus 1? That's 1 times 3. 3 over x minus 1. So, yun yung sinasabi ko na mas madali ang mag-simplify muna basta alam mo yung mga properties ng logarithms. So, it's easy to solve that. Apply muna natin yung mga properties. So, yun yung hint. Apply muna yung properties bago tayo mag-differentiate para mas mapadali ang ating solution. So, we have here y is equal to ln cosine of 3x. So, if ln cosine 3x, so ln of u, so that is y prime, derivative of cosine 3x over cosine 3x. So, anong derivative ng cosine 3x? Discuss na natin yan sa derivative of trigonometric function that the derivative of cosine u du, derivative of cosine u is equal to negative sine u du. So, this is simply negative sine 3x times the derivative of 3x over cosine 3x. So, but the derivative of 3x is 3. So, this is negative 3 sine 3x over cosine 3x. But sine over cosine is tangent. So, therefore, y prime here is negative 3 tangent 3x. So, if you simplify lang. So, we have here y is equal to ln of x. So, in this case, ito yung u. So, ang sabi, ang formula raw, derivative of u over u. Kaso, ang derivative ng ln mo ay ln din. So, I mean, ang derivative ng u mo ay ln din. So, gagamit ulit ako ng formula na du over u. So, your y prime here is derivative of x over ln of x. Kasi yung numerator ko is the derivative of ln. So, du over u ulit over ln of x. So, your y prime here is derivative of x is 1 over x over ln of x, which is similar to 1 over x ln of x as your first derivative. So, again, this is my over 1. You just have to multiply this 1 over x by the reciprocal of ln x. So, that's 1 over x times 1 over ln of x is 1 over x ln x. So, that therefore is the answer here in number 3 example. So, for number 4, you have y is equal to ln of secant x plus tangent of x. So, di ba, kapag kaganyan, ang principle natin, ang ginagawa, is just your u is secant x plus tangent of x. Tapos, kukunin ko daw ang derivative ng secant x plus tangent of x. So, ano bang derivative ng secant? That's secant tangent. Ang derivative ng tangent ay secant square. So, again, derivative of secant is secant tangent. So, if we try to go back on our discussion that the derivative of secant u is secant u, tangent u, du. Derivative of tangent u is secant square u du. So, taking the derivative of secant, that's secant of x, tangent of x, derivative of x is 1. So, your y prime here is equal to secant of x, tangent of x times 1 plus derivative of tangent x, which is secant square of x times the derivative of x. So, that's secant square x times 1 over secant x plus tangent x. So, as you can see, you have secant and secant squared. Common si secant, I can factor that out. Times the quantity tangent x plus secant of x because you factored out that secant and secant. Ito yon. So, matitira dito is tangent, then secant squared, extracting secant, matitira secant na lang over secant of x plus tangent of x. So, as you can see, your numerator tangent x plus secant x is the same as secant plus tangent x. So, that cancels out. So, that gives you 1 multiplied by secant of x. So, therefore, our y prime is simply secant of x. That's example number 4. We have here example number 5 to 8. So, I have here exponential naman. So, y is equal to e to the negative x squared. So, ang formula natin ng derivative of e to the u is simply e to the u du. So, in that case, ang u natin is negative x squared. So, your y prime is simply e to the u times the derivative of u. E to the u times the derivative of u. So, y prime here is e to the negative x squared times derivative of negative x squared is negative 2x. So, your y prime is negative 2x e to the negative x squared. As simple as that. So, number 6, you have e to the 3x multiplied by cosine 3x. Again, kapag nakakita tayo ng product, you just have to use the derivative of a product, u dv plus v du. So, lagi yan pag product, syempre, derivative of a product ang gagamitin natin. So, your y here is e to the 3x times the derivative of cosine 5x plus cosine 5x multiplied by the derivative of e to the 3x. That's u, which is e to the 3x times the derivative of cosine 5x, that's your v, plus v, which is cosine 5x times the derivative of e raised to 3x. So, taking its derivative ng cosine is negative sine 5x times 5. So, your y prime here, this is prime na pala. So, y prime here is e to the 3x times negative sine 5x times 5 plus cosine 5x times e raised to 3x multiplied by the derivative of 3x. Kasi ang derivative ng e to the u is e to the u du, derivative of 3x is 3. So, simplifying that further, this is e to the 3x times negative 5 sine 5x plus 3 e to 3x cosine 5x. So, I can factor out e raised to 3x there. So, y prime there is e raised to 3x times the quantity 3 cosine 5x minus 5 sine 5x. So, inuna ko na lang yung positive kaysa dun sa negative. So, that's our answer. Number 7, you have y is equal to 5 raised to sine 4x. So, this is 5, which represents any constant. So that represents your a, that is u. So derivative of a to the u is a to the u ln a du. So you just have to copy that a to the u. So since derivative of a to the u is simply copy a to the u ln of a, so ln of 5 times the derivative of sine 4x. So applying that formula, that's a to the u ln of a times the derivative of u, which is derivative of sine 4x. And derivative of sine 4x is cosine 4x times the derivative of 4x, which is 4. So y prime here is 5 sine 4x ln 5. Derivative of sine is cosine 4x multiplied by the derivative of 4x, which is 4. So y prime here is 5 sine 4, it's exponent. So y prime here is 5 raised to sine 4x ln 5 cosine 4x multiplied by 4. Ano ba yun? Ang dami namang multiplier. So this 4 and ln 5, pwede mong ipagsamahin. So since this is a constant, so that's y prime is 4 ln 5 multiplied by 5 raised to sine 4x cosine 4x. So whatever ang gawin mong, since commutative naman ang multiplication, or you can apply property ng logarithm, yung 4 magiging exponent ng 5, so that's 5 to the 4th, that's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. I think that is ln 625, and that would be fine. So ln 625 times 5 raised to sine 4x multiplied by cosine 4x. So that is also an answer. So number 8, that's y is equal to ln e to the x plus e to the minus x. So your y prime here is derivative of e to the x plus e to the minus x over e to the x plus e to the minus x. That's derivative of u over u since ln u siya. So I just need to take the derivative of your numerator. Ang derivative ng e to the x ay e to the x times 1 plus e to the minus x times the derivative of minus x is negative 1. So that's e to the u du over e to the x plus e to the minus x. So therefore, y prime there is e to the x minus e to the minus x over e to the x plus e to the minus x. So that will be our final answer there. I have here y is equal to ln x squared plus 4 raised to 3 halves multiplied by 3x minus 4 raised to 5 halves. So, kung gagamitin natin ang very long method, that's ln of u. So, that is derivative of this over this. So, kung gagamitin ko yung long method, gagamit ako ng derivative of a product, u times derivative of that plus this times derivative of that. So, tas gagamit pa ako ng chain rule of differentiation. So, this is similar dun sa first example natin. So, since ln ang pinag-uusapan, I can apply properties ng logarithm first prior to differentiation para mas mapadali ang ating pag-differentiate. So, I have here ln of a multiplied by b. Since this is a product, this can be written as ln of sum. So, this is ln x squared plus 4 raised to 3 halves plus ln of 3x minus 4 raised to 5 halves. So, gamit yung principle na ln AB is equal to ln A plus ln of B. So, ln A times B is ln of A plus ln of b, 3x minus 4 raised to 5 halves. But then again, I can use the principle ln a raised to b is equal to b ln a. So that exponent lalabas lang dun sa katabi ni ln. And that exponent pupunta lang dun sa katabi ni ln. So your y here, I'm just simplifying the given. I'm not yet differentiating. So that is 3 halves ln of x squared plus 4 plus 5 halves ln of 3x minus 4. So, pwede na akong mag-differentiate. So, if y is 3 halves ln x squared plus 4 plus 5 halves ln 3x minus 4. So, pwede na akong gumamit ng simple formula. So, that's ln of u is du over u. So, your y prime there is 3 halves derivative of x squared plus 4 over x squared plus 4 plus 5 halves derivative of 3x minus 4 over 3x minus 4. So, derivative of x squared plus 4 is simply 2x. So, your y prime there is 3 halves 2x over x squared plus 4 plus 5 over 2, 3 over 3x minus 4, since the derivative of 3x minus 4 is simply 3. So, that 2 cancels out. So, magkakaroon ako ng LCD na 2 times x squared plus 4 multiplied by 3x minus 4. That's your LCD. So, this divided by your LCD is 2 times 3x minus 4 multiplied by 3x. So, you have 3x times 2 times 3x minus 4 plus 5 times 3 is 15. And this LCD divided by 2 times 3x minus 4 is x squared plus 4. So, you just have to multiply that by x squared plus 4. So, simplifying this, so this is actually 6x multiplied by 3x minus 4. So, because 3x times 2 is 6x times 3x minus 4. So, distributing your y prime here is equal to 6x times 3x is 18x squared minus 6x times negative 4 is negative 24x plus 15x squared plus 60. That's 15 times x squared is 15x squared. That's 15 times 4 is 60. All over 2 times x squared plus 4, 3x minus 4. So, combining like terms, 18 plus 15 is 33. So, your y prime here is 33x squared minus 24x plus 60 over 2 times x squared plus 4 multiplied by 3x minus 4. So, if you have a Sharingan, pwede mo pa rin makita na ang 33, negative 24 at 60 ay mayroong 3 na common term. So, I can factor that 3 out, magiging 11x squared minus 8x plus 20 over 2 times x squared plus 4, 3x minus 4. So, that will be our final answer. You factor out 3 lang. Okay, let's have our last example. So, I have here ln square root of 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. So, as you can see, meron tayong ln of square root. So, this now, again, using the properties and logarithms, pwede natin siyang i-rewrite as ln of 1 plus sine x, 1 minus sine x, since square root, that is associated with a fractional exponent 1/2. So, gagamit tayo ng rule na ln a raised to b is b ln a. So, ln a raised to b is b ln a. So, that 1/2 pupunta lang sa harap. So, your y is equal to 1/2 ln of 1 plus sine x over 1 minus sine x. So, ang gagamitin naman natin ngayon ay rule ng quotient. So, ln a over b is ln a minus ln of b. So, minus yun, minus. Hindi kita. So, ln a over b is ln a minus b. So, this gives you 1/2 times the quantity ln of 1 plus sine x minus ln of 1 minus sine x. So, ln a over b is ln a minus ln b. So, pwede na tayong kumuha ng derivative y prime. So, 1/2 is a constant, so hindi na tayo kukuha ng hindi na natin isasama yan sa pag-differentiate. So, kukunin ko lang ang ln u, which is derivative of 1 plus sine x over 1 plus sine x minus derivative of 1 minus sine x over 1 minus sine x. So, taking the derivative of your numerator and the derivative of this 1 minus sine x gives y prime is 1/2 times the quantity. Derivative of 1 is 0. Derivative of sine is cosine x times the derivative of x is 1 over 1 plus sine x minus derivative of negative sine x, because derivative of 1 is 0, derivative of negative sine x is negative cosine of x over 1 minus sine x. So your y prime here is therefore equal to LCD 1 plus sine x, 1 minus sine x is 1 plus sine x, 1 minus sine x. So this LCD 1 plus sine x times 1 minus sine x divided by 1 plus sine x is 1 minus sine x times cosine x. So that gives you cosine of x, 1 minus sine x. And this negative times this negative becomes positive cosine of x. This LCD 1 plus sine x, 1 minus sine x divided 1 minus sine x is 1 plus sine x times cosine of x. So that gives you 1 plus cosine of x. Sorry, it should be sine, 1 plus sine. 1 plus sine x. Multiplying this is a plus b, a minus b. Sabi ni algebra, a plus b times a minus b is a squared minus b squared. So that is simply 1 minus sine squared of x. So your y prime here is 1/2 times the quantity, 1 minus sine squared x. So this cosine x times 1 is cosine x. This cosine x times negative sine x is negative sine x cosine x. This cosine x times 1 is cosine x. This cosine times positive sine is sine x cosine x. So that sine x cosine x and minus sine x cosine x cancels out. So magiging itong cosine x plus cosine x is cosine 2x. So that's 1/2 times the quantity 2 cosine of x over 1 minus sine squared x. That's cosine squared x using Pythagorean identity. That 1 minus sine squared x is cosine squared x. But then again, cosine x cancels out with that cosine. May matitira akong 1 over cosine of x. Because that 2 cancels out with 1/2 there. So matitira ko is 1 over cosine x. And using reciprocal identity, 1 over cosine is simply secant function. So your y prime here is simply secant of x. So that will be our final answer. Okay, so that ends the derivative of exponential and logarithmic functions.